AITA for refusing to babysit my niece because my sister never helped me when I needed it. AITA for refusing to babysit my niece because my sister never helped me when I needed it. 29F, I'm the family firefighter who never gets a day off. If there's a leak, I'm the bucket. If there's a bill, I'm the Venmo. My sister, Lena, 33, is the one flicking matches and calling it ambiance. She says, family means showing up, but somehow that always means me showing up for her. 2 weeks ago, she texted, "Can you watch Mila, 4F, every Thursday this month? Just 4 nights, please." I said, "I can do one maybe. My deadline is brutal." She sent a thumbs up. I figured we were aligned. Thursday, 6 p.m., my doorbell rings. Lena's on my porch in glitter eyeliner with mylan pajamas, a car seat dumped like luggage, and a diaper bag that looks like it contains a sink. I say. I said maybe. She smiles. "It's fine. You always come through." I block the doorway. "Not tonight, Lena." Her face drops the sweetness. "If you make me late, I'll tell Mom what you did the night Dad was in the hospital." I froze because Lena shouldn't know about that night. Last January, I had an ectopic pregnancy that ruptured. I went from cramps to an ambulance to surgery to waking up with a morphine headache and a missing fallopian tube. The hospital called my emergency contact, Lena, 5 times. I texted 10. I left a voicemail crying. 2 days later, she replied, "OMG, phone died. Are you okay? Also, can you take Mila Thursday?" That was my support network. In March, Dad had a heart attack. I drove him to the ER, held his hand through the beeping, and slept in a chair that believed in medieval punishment. Lena arrived the next afternoon with an iced coffee and a ring light smile, took a boomerang of Dad's wristband, captioned, "Life is precious," and left after 20 minutes because the energy was weird. In June, my landlord announced renovations that sounded a lot like eviction. I asked Lena to help pack. She had a spiritual DJ brunch. I boxed my kitchen at 3 a.m. alone. She did swing by the next day to borrow my air fryer because I'll use it more. So when she threatened me on my own porch, years of swallowed anger tried to claw out of my throat. Here's the hospital night she's holding over me. Dad kept asking for his CPAP from home because he hates the hospital ones. The nurse said it would help. At 1:00 a.m., I drove to our parents' house, used my key, and headed to their closet. The safe in the closet, the one only Mom, Lena, and I know the code for, was sitting open. Inside were folders labeled loans and IOUs. Every single paper was Lena's. Just until payday. Repay after taxes. Emergency, promise. Thousands over years. Sticky notes with hearts like the debt was cute. I didn't go there to snoop, but suddenly it felt like I was oxygen-starved and those papers were the air. I snapped photos because I was tired of being told I exaggerate. And then I did something I'm not proud of. I slipped one IOU, the oldest, a 5-figure temporary loan, into my bag. I told myself it was for safekeeping in case things went missing. I didn't return it. I hid it behind my router. Proof. Back on the porch, I said, "You're blackmailing me with proof of your own borrowing." She tilted her head, all mercy gone. "You stole from a safe." "I protected Dad from you," I said. "Protect yourself," she shot back. Then, loud enough for the hallway camera she installed on Mom's porch. "Come on, honey. Auntie's too busy for family." Mila looked back at me, confused. I kept my voice gentle. "Good night, sweet pea." I closed the door and shook. My neighbor across the hall, Mr. Patel, poked his head out at the noise. He's 70 and kind. He lifted his eyebrows. "Okay." And I nodded. He didn't push, but he slid a note under my mat later. "Boundaries are a form of love, mostly for yourself." I cried harder over that than over Mom's texts. At work the next day, my focus was oatmeal. My boss asked if I was okay. I said, for once, no. I gave her the PG-13 version, family stress, caretaking, deadline collision. She said, "Take tomorrow remote. Hit the deadline without apologizing for existing." My shoulders dropped an inch I didn't know I was holding. A cousin DM'd, "Lena says you embezzled from your parents." I sent the time-stamped photos of the IOUs and typed, "I took one. I shouldn't have. I'm done being erased." The cousin replied with one word, "Yikes," which in our family is basically a confession of belief. 10 minutes later, the family group chat combusted. "Mom, why wouldn't you help your sister?" "Lena." She slammed the door on Mila. "Aunt, we all rely on each other sometimes." I wrote one word, boundaries. People will ask, why not just babysit for the child's sake? Because pattern. Because when I almost died, my emergency contact was a voicemail. Because when I needed boxes, I got brunch. Because I'm not a spare parent. Also, and I hate that I even type this, sometimes when Mila tilts her head, I see my ex, Mark. Same half dimple, same I'm listening face that usually meant the opposite. The timelines overlap. I will never say this outside the internet because it isn't her fault and I refuse to make a child pay for adult rot. But it makes babysitting feel like rocking my own betrayal to sleep. The next morning, Mom arrived with muffins and a frown ironed for special occasions. Lena says you stole from Dad's safe. I said, I took one IOU the night of the CPAP run. I shouldn't have. I was afraid it would vanish. Mom pinched her lips. She's a single mother. I stared. I was a single adult bleeding in an ER. Who helped me? Mom repeated our family liturgy. You girls have to look out for each other. I have, I said. Alone. Just babysit Thursdays and put the note back. No. She left the muffins. I threw them out because they tasted like guilt even through the wrapper. That evening, Lena called. No hello. You told people about the IOUs. I corrected your lies, I said. You're ruining my reputation. You ruined mine when you slept with Mark. Silence. Then her voice shrank. Daycare raised rates again. I'm behind on rent. The car needs brakes. I'm tired. A small, mean part of me thought, so am I said. Ask for help honestly, not by threatening me. So you'd rather see me drown than watch your niece a few hours a week? I'd rather fund daycare than be your unpaid staff. You're so transactional. You're so entitled. She hung up. An hour later, Mom texted, We're meeting Sunday to discuss a babysitting schedule. Please come. I replied, no. Mom sent a wall about family unity, ending with, if you don't come, you're choosing to separate yourself from us. I set my phone face down and listened to the loud quiet that follows a clean boundary. The thing about being the family firefighter is that people forget smoke hurts you too. You start smelling it everywhere and thinking it's normal. You start confusing self-immolation for warmth. This morning I sent Lena a link to a childcare assistance program, offered to cover the first month's copay, and wrote that I'd help one emergency night per month with 24 hours notice. True emergencies accepted. She replied, keep your blood money. Mom followed with, this isn't how we do things. Maybe that's the point. How we do things is why I'm burned out at 29. For the AITA accountants, yes, I've given Lena money. $50 here, $200 there, a $750 deposit bridge that turned into her old couch's repayment, which Mom called so generous. I was the one who used PTO to shuttle Dad to cardiac rehab while Lena came once, filmed him walking, added dramatic music, and left because the vibe was off. Why keep the IOU now? Because paper truth evaporates in our family's humidity. Because the minute I let go of proof, the story resets to, you're cruel and she's struggling. I know taking it was wrong. Two things can be true. My method was wrong. So was a decade of erasures. One more twist. Mom slipped and told me how Lena knew about the note. Your sister said she saw your reflection in the safe door on the hallway camera. Translation. While Dad was begging for sleep in a hospital bed, Lena was at the house, scrubbing footage. She didn't text me. She didn't bring the CPAP. She checked angles. There's a rod in that choice I cannot Lysol away. People will say, go no contact. I've thought about it. But there's a 4-year-old who calls me Auntie B because she couldn't say my name, and now it's stuck. Who asks for tiny suns drawn on her fingernails because they keep shadows away. I'm trying to build a fence, not a wall. Help that is structured, not endless. Money that is documented, not disappearing. Time that is offered, not taken. Sunday's meeting will happen without me. At 2:55, I'll email Lena the childcare program confirmation and a receipt for the copay I prepaid. I'll drop off Dad's favorite CPAP cleaner on their porch because, despite everything, I still run towards smoke. Then I'll sit with a laundry basket and practice not inventing emergencies to justify breaking my own boundary. If the question is strictly legal, I don't owe babysitting. If it's strictly moral, here's my read. Refusing coercion isn't cruelty. It's clarity. I won't punish a child. I also won't keep setting myself on fire so her mother can feel warm. So, Reddit. Am I the asshole for refusing to babysit my niece because my sister never helped me when I needed it? If you like this story and want to see more, then smash that subscribe button and stay tuned.